Hey, this is Marcel. This is going to be my quick video on the what do I keep saying that? Palomino California Republic pencil, just for something a little bit different. It's a pencil. For those who don't know, I'm an artist and my training background was formerly in drawing, so I've been around a pencil or two and I certainly have opinions when it comes to them. So anyway, because I'm a bit pressed for time, I'm just going to quickly read through what I've got. I've got a couple of comparisons I'll show you, and if I get time, I want to get this done in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll show you guys my previous favourite pen. Previous? Is that giving anything away? Well, I'm still undecided, to be honest. Anyway, so, yeah. Alright, before I start reading this, I'll just tell you how I got the pencil, and it is unusual. I don't normally go for Palomino pencils because they're normally a bit too expensive, considering how many pencils I go through in a year. But that may change into this guy. Basically, I bought a box of 12 of these at the recent Milligram warehouse sale for like $5, so I got 12. Anyway, cheaper than what I normally spend. I'll run through the details. I first heard about, I'm going to read this off a piece of paper, so apologies, this will probably look weird. I first heard about the brand through a close friend who's an animator, or more accurately, he's a concept designer, amongst many other things, to be fair. So the Palomino California Republic pencil in a B is the hardness, is made in Japan. If that means anything. It probably does in terms of quality, I don't know. So anyway, I first heard about the brand through a close friend. Actually, he told me about the legend of the Blackwing, to be honest, and it was before the reboot. The pencil, as he said, was used by famous comic book artists, by cartoonists, by writers. I'd never heard of it before. At the time, Blackwings were a thing of the past. They were discontinued, as I was saying, and you could find them still, but they were super expensive, and generally you'd only find them like on eBay, for heaps, for like $15-20 for like a used Blackwing pencil. Anyway, jump ahead about a year after I heard the legend of the Blackwing and kind of had a look and didn't get one because I wasn't interested in spending that much on a used pencil. And another friend, a good friend of mine, bought me a Blackwing, a new one, which was confusing to me. I didn't know about this reboot at that point. They were working like in a sort of fairly upmarket art supply store at the time. So I guess I should mention I've never used one of the original Blackwings, so I can't compare it to the original Blackwing in any way. I'm only talking from experience of probably not the same level of legend status, but pretty good pencils. My everyday pencils, I guess, are anyway, I'll tell you about it. The pencil I do use mostly would be the Faber-Castell 9000 series pencils, the green ones, like so, in 2B. I would buy them by the box, but basically every time I'm in an art store, I'll buy one or two to continually keep the levels up. So I'd never actually used these California Republic pencils. I'd actually never even heard of them before I bought the box. I had used the black Palomino Blackwing, which is what my friend bought me all those years ago, and then subsequently I'd bought a few 620, which I think is the classic one people refer to. So I've gone through a few, and to be honest, I found it a difficult sell, even though they are really nice pencils, just for cost reasons basically. I like working with pencils because I don't feel too precious with them. I love fountain pens, I love mechanical pencils, but give me a pencil any day, and I'm at home. So that being said, I'm going to have to investigate further these. I did sort of have a bit of a look after the sale, how much they normally cost at Milligram, and anyway, they're about, I think they're about $3 each. So I mean, actually not a huge amount more than what I would spend on my Faber-Castell pencils. So anyway, I wanted to start with that sort of vaguely personal relationship to the brand, if you will, my history with it, as well as, you know, I guess other people's probably. Okay, well, let's talk about the black-bodied Blackwings that you buy. In my experience, they're probably like, I would guess, about a 4B in standard pencil hardness and colour systems. Actually, I've got one here. I'll just test it and see. So here's a little guy, a little stub of a Blackwing that I've got left here without the eraser in there, and I'm just going to write it down on here because I've just been writing with the others. So yeah, it's pretty dark. I'll see if I've got a 4B. I've got a 4B Faber-Castell 9000 here. This is softer, this is smoother and softer, but equal in darkness. This is a bit toothier. Anyway, this is about this guy, so moving on. I just found another one in my pencil case, and the 602 as well, just for reference, just so you can have a look. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a full one of these before, but they're long pencils. They're longer than standard when they're new. Maybe like, yeah, that's probably, yeah, about that. So I just want to quickly compare this. I should have done this before. Ooh. I think this might be a bit smoother, but it's definitely a bit lighter. Okay, so the main difference between this and this, as you can see, is the inclusion of an eraser on the Blackwings. The lead feels maybe even a bit softer in this, but I'll get to that. So the eraser thing, I know that it's really normal to have a eraser on the back of pencils in places like the US. Here it's really not. I mean, we do get them sometimes, but generally it's like just the really cheap pencils that maybe you had in like primary school before you got your pen license. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but it certainly is here. So basically, when you're learning how to write here, or was my experience in primary school or elementary school, was that you started with a pencil, and then you eventually, once you were competent enough, they'd graduate you on to writing with a ballpoint pen. So yeah, the lead in this is incredibly smooth and soft, which does, one of the drawbacks of that has to be that you need to sharpen the pencil more frequently. So this is after, so I sharpened it quite sharply, that's the right word, sharply, just using a sort of standard-ish pencil sharpener. Everyone's probably seen them. and after writing just quick little tests, like 285 sheets worth of writing, it was down to this, which I'd still use for a little bit longer, to be honest. If you lighten your touch, it still has a pretty fine point. But yeah, so you need to sharpen it a little bit more frequently. In terms of the softness, though, what it gives you is a much more smooth experience on the paper. So it really does just glide onto the paper without much resistance. So I'm guessing this would have to do with the type of filler they use, which would be a clay or something else. They use a few different kinds of binders along with graphite, as well as how finely they've milled the combination before being formed into the lead. I'd actually compare this more, although it's a B, I'd compare it to a 2B in the Faber-Castell 9000 pencils. It's not an 100% comparison, but in terms of the tonality, I feel like it's closer to this. I actually did compare it to a B Faber-Castell and noticed that this was like drawing with the B in Faber-Castell's quite firm. It's got a place, definitely got a place in drawing for me. I generally work from quite hard pencils to softer pencils and darker, which I think is a fairly normal pencil technique. Sorry, I just dropped this guy, which brings me to another point I wanted to bring up, which is the softness of the lead is great. It's a really pleasant pencil to use, but with the Blackwings anyway, I haven't really tested these for this yet, and I won't intentionally, is that the Blackwings, the lead can be a little bit fragile, so it can crack. Which again comes down to that binder they use with the graphite when they're forming the leads. So I guess it's a trade-off. We'll see how we go in the long term, but it is worth making a note of that there's a trade-off between the softness of the lead and its durability. The Faber-Castell 9000s, they're great everyday pencils because they're a little bit cheaper. I think they're normally about $1.50 to $2 each. I don't know. I don't even know. I normally just buy them with other stuff, but not heaps. Whereas this is a $3 pencil, so your expectations would be higher. But what was interesting in me sitting down and doing a side-by-side, just writing, was the B of this is really toothy. And I was writing on Rhodia grid paper, so it's a smooth paper, like smoother than an artist's drawing paper that you would normally use, or I would normally use for this kind of thing. So it was almost scratchy. And I'd almost go as far as saying unpleasantly so. Once I stepped it up to the 2B, which was like maybe 70% of the way to what the Palomino is in terms of softness and darkness as well. I'm going to leave it at that because I've crapped on for long enough. If you're interested in me making these kind of videos where I blather on about pencils, I'm going to keep doing them, so good times ahead. Obviously subscribe if you want to get notified of when I upload stuff, which can be frequent and random. Notifications are always a good idea. I guess in closing, I want to know what people think about writing with pencils. In terms of writing, I feel much more comfortable with writing with a pencil than with other things, although tactile-wise, I quite like the variation of experiences you can have with a fountain pen. But there's a certain level of confidence that I have with a pencil that I just don't have with a fountain pen at this point anyway, and we'll see if that changes anytime soon. Alright, I'm going to leave it there and wish you all a good day. See ya.